Academy, founder and president of the Chinese Language Teachers Association of Virginia, among others. She has received many accolades in recognition of her contribution to Chinese language education. Among them, the Albert Nelson McKim Who's Who Lifetime Achievement Award in 2019, several Star Talk Awards, the Jefferson Trust Award in 2018, the Helen Arena Berg-Fleva Distinguished Service Award in 2016, and the JEDA Empirical Research Grant in 2015, and Ron Walton Best Presentation Award in 1998 by CLTA. Her major research interest lies in text-based language teaching, online teaching and technology, teacher development, and CFL, curriculum design and pedagogy. Now, everybody, let's welcome Professor Miao-fen Tseng.
Thank you. Thank you for your warm welcome. Many thanks to Professor Tseng the introduction. I also like to express my renewed gratitude again to Professor Tseng for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share with you something that I have been studying, researching, and passionate about for at least 15 years. Yeah, I sometimes tease myself that I'm a text-based lady. Yeah. All right, now let me share my PowerPoint. Right, here we go. Yeah, I started to realize your logo. Yeah, it's so beautiful, so well designed. Your school color seems to be red brick color. My institution is navy blue and orange, but we are not competitors. All right. In my today's talk, I like to, first of all, give a brief overview of text-based TBLT curriculum framework and distinguish text-based from text-supported language teaching. These two are actually different. Although we tend to say TBLT as a logo, as an icon, but people sometimes get confused with one from the other. And the second part of my presentation is to introduce the course that I created for as a pre-advanced Chinese language course that was funded by National Endowment for the Humanities. I'm so honored and so fortunate to receive such funding from the national organization. And the third part of my presentation is I will highlight my syllabus essentials so you can get a holistic understanding of essential elements of my course design and some background information. Last but not the least, I will navigate the OER Pressbooks platform to demonstrate how you as language educators, instructors and researchers and students can interact with the platform to download materials for teaching and learning. My course design and OER side is Chinese specific, but the rationale, the concepts of task and authenticity and authentic materials, a lot of principles are perfectly applicable for all world language instructors, practitioners, and researchers. So don't go away if you are not teaching Mandarin Chinese. All right, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge and thanks to National Endowment for the Humanities that grants me such a big grant for me to complete the 3-year project from 2020 to 2023. I'm also grateful to my strong working team that we have worked together to achieve and have achieved what we aim to achieve. My working team includes a technology specialist that is Dr. Yan Gao, who is the recipient of 2017 AFO Online Teaching Award. I also have my colleague that serve as one material developer and one teaching research assistant and 1 or 2 undergraduate student assistants, plus graduate student interns in pursuit of MA degree in teaching Chinese as foreign language. Most importantly, I also need to thank my students that were enrolled in my pre-advanced Chinese language class at UVA, University of Virginia. Without their hard work, their constant feedback, constructive suggestions, I would not be able to present today's topic in front of you. So this article, feature article was released in spring 2021 when I first experimented the course. I was so thrilled to learn that several students realized and felt a big difference compared to other Chinese language courses and other language courses they took before. They started, after 500 hours, they started to spread good words about it, and they voluntarily reached out to our institutional journalist. So I was interviewed by our institutional journalist, and my technology specialist was also interviewed, my teaching assistant, and several students who were enrolled in my class also was interviewed. They were so enthusiastic about the change, the difference. I think what matters and make what they felt such a big difference is because of the authenticity that has been embodied in some sense that meet their needs, and also the feature of a series of tasks that are so well connected and well sequenced to put the 5 themes together. And in my following talk, you will get to know more details. If you are interested in learning more about text and text design, particularly Mandarin Chinese, you are more than welcome to see my 4 books. It is a series of handbook of tasks and rubrics for teaching Mandarin Chinese. The books are written in English. Even though you don't understand Chinese, it's still no problem for you to digest to understand the content. Also, I have 2 articles published on TBLT. Feel free to search online. They have something that is related to what I'm talking about today. All right, text-based framework. It's probably nothing new to you because we are all language professionals, but I'd like to get a head start, to briefly highlight the key features. In TBLT literature, there's a wide array of definitions. To summarize and synthesize, I put 5 key features right here that serve as common grounds for our mutual understanding. The first feature is that texts have a primary focus on meaning, but not structure, although structure is not overlooked. The second feature is that text specified cumulative objectives. That's no doubt at all. The third feature is that texts connect learners to real-world experiences and situations. A lot of the texts, as we want it to be, should be authentic. It should be connecting to student real-life experiences. But before students are capable of completing authentic tests, I want to remind everyone, I believe you agree, that pedagogical texts are also necessary in order to help students to move along smoothly. The third feature is that texts involve the development of the learner's cognitive ability. Some teachers did raise a question that novice learners could not achieve this aspect, but I told them actually the development of cognitive ability, including higher order thinking, analytical ability, prediction, inferencing, problem solving, and so on, could be achieved across different levels, even for novice learners with limited language ability. What matters is how to create tasks that are suited for learners' proficient level. So novice level, intermediate level, advanced level, no problem at all. The last feature is that tasks clearly define language outcomes and assessments. I have some more detailed information in this article, 2017. Going back to Willis framework in 1993, they divide the task implementation process into 3 stages. The first stage is for teachers to introduce the topic, introduce the task, including giving instructions, step-by-step procedure, so students know exactly what they are supposed to do. The second stage is that students work in groups, in most cases, to plan the task and then prepare for that and report and act out. And the third stage get to the language focus part. It's in the stage students started to analyze and practice more some target structures and functions. And if language components and functions are not well mastered yet, then the teachers can guide students to review and repeat the task, either identical task or similar or different tasks. So these are the 3 steps that I think we are quite familiar with. And in terms of curriculum design, as I mentioned earlier, there are strong version and weak version. What you see from this slide represents the strong version. It's called text-based TBLT. TBLT includes a series of tasks as central curricular modules according to law 1997. So tasks are connected and sequenced from the start of the semester till the end of the semester. Everything is task. That's strong version. And different from the strong version, here is what ILIS 2003 mentioned and proposed, so-called text-supported language teaching, TSLT. We heard more about TBLT, but we rarely heard about TSLT. And actually, TSLT is what the majority of world language educator instructors across different levels, elementary school, middle school, and college universities, they mostly do this. TSLT features the instructional procedure that is that goes from present followed by practice and ends up with produce. It's a 3-stage cycle, so which learners perform tasks at some point, typically at the end of each curriculum module. I think this is fairly applicable and more practical for a lot of world language instructors, because you don't need to dump your textbook. It's present, practice, and produce. Okay. If you see this slide here, you see structural ones on the left, and then move to the second, structures 1 to 2 progressively. And at the end of one lesson or one topic or one unit, one theme, typically you can add a summative task to summarize the lesson, the topic, or the theme or the unit. Teachers also add some small tasks in between. It's all up to you to decide how many tasks you can do and what kind of task could be inserted at some point. Okay. In this sense, structures are used as central organizing modules in a unit, lesson, or topic. At the bottom, we start from text 1, move to text 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything centered upon tasks, different type of tasks, different design, different function, different can-do statements. So texts are regarded as central organizing modules in a unit. On the top, it is text supported. At the bottom is text-based. And what are the materials that teachers use? On the top is text supported. Teachers continue to use the textbooks 1, 2, or 3 textbooks, feel free to add some authentic materials. But the major instructional materials come from textbooks that are conventional printed materials that save teachers' effort. It's a painless process. It's more doable, okay, because we know how busy we are. And then to create text-based TBLT curriculum, we need to do everything from authentic materials. It's a big time commitment, isn't it? Okay. Some teachers might go in between, okay, and TBLT is a very strong version, and I tried 3 courses. It needs money, it needs time, it needs your teammates, a lot of people to work toward it. Yeah. And now let's see the PPP framework. The first P is presentation. Normally, a teacher present a new grammatical structure with a certain function. On the left, you see I do, that means the teacher does it. Okay, and moving to the second P, practice, the teacher invites students to engage in drills, exercises, hopefully not mechanical. It should be meaningful and communicative in nature. So on the left, you see we do. And then moving toward the green color part is production. That's the third P. This is a place where students have time, opportunities to engage in free, spontaneous conversation that has more community functions, such as role play or different types of student-centered tasks to engage in natural conversation. This part features you refer to students. You know, ideally, we want students to do more green part, but not the blue part. But in reality, we observed that a lot of classroom time tends to be spent on the first 2 Ps. This triangle shows what we wanted to be, what we wanted to see in an ideal language class. We would like to see students have more time to do spontaneous language production, comprehensible language output, and productive quality language output. But that's not what we see in the majority of language classes. That's why I wanted to try to challenge my limit, to challenge my students' limit, explore their potential. What I did, dealing with the 3 Ps, putting in my curriculum framework is that I wanted the first 2 Ps to be well prepared before students enter my classroom. So the first P presentation, that's something that students can do themselves as long as this is well designed effectively. So I use the first presentation to do pre-test. It's so-called flipped learning, flipped classroom learning. Students completed before class. And the second P practice, why not asking students to do it themselves? As long as your tasks, pedagogical tests, authentic tests are well designed. Okay, so in my course structure, I ask students basically to do the first 2 Ps before class. They do flipped learning themselves, and the beauty of it is that students get instant feedback and instant scoring. That's so crucial. That means that before they enter the classroom, they know, oh, this is something I need to fix, this is something I need to pay attention to, and I already received teachers' feedback. So I know what to do in my class. So they are more confident entering the classroom, either face-to-face or online. If the second P, the result of flipped learning, whatever type of text it is not ideal, then teachers know. I would know it because I always check students' learning results before class. So these allow ample time and a lot of opportunity for students to engage in student-centered tasks, to do cooperative language communication, free and natural use of language. So the green part takes place in classroom time. And that features core tasks. The first 2P are so-called pre-tasks students do before class. And core tasks, normally 2 or 3 core tests are done in regular class time. That's a 50-minute chunk. And after students leave the class, after the finished core test, then it's time for them to do language focus review. That's after class post-task. All right, and in my course design, I want to emphasize one thing, that I pretty much agree with Gahan's recommendations in 2000. I did not follow Michael Long's long version that no need to predetermine a range of target structure vocabulary. Instead, I did choose a range of target structures to plan for materials, PowerPoint, assessment, etc. All right, now let's review a little bit my curricular design. How to embody and realize the notion of authenticity. I think I have 2 aspects to connect my students with authenticity. The first is authentic context, to create authentic context where all of my students are exchange students in a US-China virtual exchange program that mimics the structure of study abroad. It's a coincidence that this course arrived at the right time during the pandemic. So all students couldn't go study abroad. So this course became a big hit. Yeah. And the second factor to embody authenticity is to compile, organize, write, array, and multi-talented, versatile, web-based, authentic material or multimedia. And the third factor to embody authenticity is to create meeting negotiation process that resembles what native speakers do in different contexts. For example, restaurants, for example, to engage in United Nations presentation and so on. And the fourth aspect is to create pedagogical tasks and authentic tasks. You know, students cannot run without learning how to walk. So pedagogical tasks are means to help students how to walk and walk well, walk fast. And after they are able to walk fast, then they can engage in authentic tasks to run and run faster. According to Dowdy and Long 2003, they mentioned 7 steps to create a TBLT course. The first step is to analyze needs and identify target tasks. After that, they would do, what they do is to classify the target tasks into target text types. There are so many different text types: role play, information gap, debate, across 3 communication modes. Then they will derive pedagogical tasks. So I think the target tasks refer to authentic tasks, placing authentic tasks as an end product. And in order to reach to the point that students are able to accomplish the end of unit target authentic tasks, we need procedure pedagogical tasks to help students build their confidence and to master language structure, function, and so on. And then we will start to sequence all tasks to form a syllabus. So the syllabus has so many tasks that are compiled, organized together, all about tasks. And then the 5th step is to implement in class with appropriate methodology and pedagogy. That's the action part to get things going. And number 62, well, it's time to assess student performance with text-based criterion and reference performance rubrics or checklists. Finally, to evaluate the course or evaluate the program. What I did, in principle, I follow what Dottie and Long suggested, but I created 10 steps to create my NEH-funded course. The first step is that I started to brainstorm with my team members how and what themes and units do we do. And the second step is to finalize our curricula and pedagogical goals. It's actually still follow the principle, the three-step procedure within the framework of backward design. It's not nothing so different or so variant. Yeah. And the third step is to select and test technology tools. We spend at least half a year to brainstorm, to collect, to search for available technology tools, and frequently consult with our technology specialists, and then tested all the tools, and we finally were able to finalize what tools. We know less is more, yeah, but not vice versa. And the fourth step is to compile authentic materials, then determine what are the end products that we want students to be able to produce. So we determine some of the authentic tasks for each unit or each theme. And then based on the end product, authentic summary tasks, then we started to create bits by bits, create formative assessments, including pre-task, core task, and post-task for preview and for review. Okay. And step 7, we started to create PowerPoint materials. You see, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, what we did as language instructor was probably to go ahead, just create PowerPoint materials. But for this course, we didn't do it until step 7. So there are a lot of things going on before we have concrete ideas about what PowerPoint material, what slides that we need to put together. And then number 8, it's time to teach in classroom to experiment it. And number 9, all right, we evaluate, assess student performance according to predetermined rubrics and checklists and so on. Finally, like what Dottie and Long mentioned, their step 7 is the same as my step 10 to evaluate course and then to collect student feedback. I like to emphasize that these 10 steps are not in a linear fashion. Sometimes 2 or 3 steps need to go back and forth to revisit and tweak a little bit until we feel satisfied. Okay, now I like to highlight my syllabus essentials. When we did it, as I mentioned, the grant was given to me in a 3-year time frame. So we tested for 3 years. And then we taught online and also in person. No problem at all. This course design is applicable to all type of instructional delivery mode. Who were my students? My students were heritage learners and non-heritage learners. There was a combination of both group of students. They completed a pre-11th class, Chinese 3010, and then took this class in spring. We strictly follow AFO's standards and professional guidelines. Okay, this course is a technology-mediated language course, text-based, but not text-supported. It's a text-based language course, and authenticity has been one of the guiding overarching principles based on which we make decision upon it. But how to create authenticity and to connect student real life experience to make students feel it's so real, so authentic. First of all, we create opportunity for students to interact with a wide array of authentic materials. And then we also invite students to engage in authentic tasks, different types of authentic tasks. And then we have students immerse in authentic settings that connect with their real life experience, that approximate their real life experiences. Finally, students also participated in authentic community-based interaction with native speakers. Authentic community-based interaction is end of unit task that my students did. To complete this summative task, they met with native speakers to complete some discussion, complete some tasks that closely linked to what students learned in the previous 5 days. Okay, and who are the native speakers? Those native speakers were MA students pursuing their MA degree in teaching Chinese as a foreign language. What are the themes that we taught students in this course? There are a total of 5 themes with a seamless connection. The first theme is that since students were enrolled in, they participated in virtual exchange program, yes, in the China exchange program. So before they departed, they needed to attend a pre-departure orientation to get familiar with what the program required them to do, and to get familiar with some cultural preparation, and also the city they would like to visit, Beijing, a lot of things. And they also prepare and get familiar with 四合院, that's a traditional 4-side courtyard architectural residence in ancient China. And there are also quite a number of 四合院 4-side courtyard in Beijing. And after that, they packed and took the flight and arrived at Daxing Airport in Beijing. That's the newest, largest, much advanced airport in China. And after they landed in Beijing, then they started to explore Beijing and its surrounding, including visiting Beijing University and tried authentic Chinese cuisine. After that, after they settled and stay in Beijing for a couple of weeks, then started to be aware of some societal issues such as sandstorm, air pollution, northern drifters, and poverty issues in some rural areas of China. Okay, and here we go. In terms of what technology tools that we used for this class, we, of course, use Zoom, just like the Zoom setting that we are using today for today's presentation. And we also use ThinkLink to create interactive e-flyer that has text and embedded video. I think this is quite interactive and I like it. I think it's a well-chosen tech tool. We use it to create a program flyer, interactive flyer. We also use this to create an interactive menu. Then we can click it and immediately pop up with some video that will automatically play by itself. Quizlet is something we will all know very well to preview vocabulary and sentencing context. Again, Quizlet allows us to give instant feedback. The test function will give students immediate feedback and scoring. And Padlet allows us to create different types of tasks across 3 communication modes: interpreted, interpersonal, presentational. It's meant to be collaborative in nature. The one more is PlayPosit. PlayPosit is a tool to create interactive videos. Again, students would be able to receive instant feedback and instant scoring. When I show you the OER Pressbook platform, you will see how things work. Yeah. Okay, that's something they will see after I finish 2 slides of technology tools. Flipgrid, a lot of teachers like Flipgrid. It's very user-friendly, very easy to operate. So basically, we use Flipgrid to create individual videos. And we could also invite students to interact with each other to add the component of peer evaluation, peer learning, peer review at the end of this kind of task. 3D videos, we did include some 3D videos. It's so-called low immersion effect versus high immersion effect. It's cost saving, and during the pandemic, we have no way to invite students to go to the 3D studio to do something, because we do need to be kept distant from each other without body contact. Google, we use Google to do copywriting, to do a survey. And the very last one is Book Creator. This is something that I will show you when I show you the OER platform again. Book Creator allows students to create their own ebook. So each of my students is an author, is an independent author. At the end of the semester, at the end of the course, at the end of the Beijing journey, each single student publish their ebook. And again, don't forget to enhance peer interaction. So after students finish their ebook, we also created peer interactive tasks for students to learn from each other. Okay, that's my PowerPoint. Now let me show you what OER Pressbook platform looks like. Here we go. Yeah. Let me show you. Oops. Well, it's missing, so I need to go back to my email to look for my Pressbook site. Give me a minute. Okay. Let's see, it's somewhere. Oh, here we go. My email signature has it. So let me copy and paste this one. And do this right here. All right. Now you will see my open textbook cover. And the OER resources are meant to be free. Now we know how much students need to spend to buy textbook. So the major purposes of producing OER materials are to reduce the cost of course materials, to eliminate barriers to equitable access, maximize student achievement and learning outcomes, and finally address, most importantly, affordability, accessibility, and inclusion for all learners. So if you want to read my books, you can click here, read book. Okay, let's see a course overview first. This is a video that I created in Mandarin Chinese to give students an overview of this course. What are the course requirements? What students would do? And what are the exciting things about this virtual exchange program? And this is an interactive e-file that I created. Actually, not myself. My assistant created through ThingLink. It's interactive in nature. And here you can see the 6 days instructional flow. On day 1, day 2, and day 3. Each day follows a 3 stage learning cycle. Students start doing pre-tasks for flip learning before class to preview materials. That is to replace the first 2 P's, present and practice. That's something students could do on their own. And then in class, they do course tasks, 2 or 3 course tasks. as a class, they will review by completing post-test. So day 1, day 2, day 3 follow exactly identical procedure, the 3-step procedure: pre-test, core-test, post-test. On day 4, students finish integrated review test. It's considered more so likely pedagogical test, not authentic test yet. And on Wednesday, students did testing action. That's an in-class summative authentic task for students to be well prepared to get out of their classroom, to engage and interact with native speakers through the TBL learning component. This could be done virtually, or it could be done in the in-person delivery mode. And these are the 5 themes that we talked about earlier. And since students participate in the virtual exchange program, it makes sense to require students to participate in a pre-departure orientation. Yes, we did it either online or in person. And also, it's an exciting journey. The students stay in Beijing for 1 semester. At the end of the program, at the end of the course, everybody participated in the closing ceremony, and everybody received a certificate of completion to acknowledge their effort. All right, and here is the technology tool that I like to share with you. Okay, I click here to enlarge it, and then it's a book, ebook that we can flip page by page. The cover page, students created their own. They chose whatever picture image they like. Each book should resemble what the real book looks like. It has book title, it has the author's name, and you see bubble and emoji right here. Bubble and emoji are added by students' peers to engage in peer interactive tasks. That means that after each student completed their own ebook, then their peers log into this book creator site and to read their peers' books and add comments by adding bubbles, emoji, or sound recording, or video. It's quite diversified. And a book should have a table of contents. Yeah, everything should be in Chinese, of course. Yeah, and that's this author's self-introduction. And on the left, you see the very first type essay the students completed after they met with their native speaker Mandarin Chinese. And this is always the second version, but not the first version. You know, writing process requires a deliberate thinking. So that is definitely not students' first version, it's the second version. And on the right is the English reflection that goes with the TBL Chinese type essay. We cannot emphasize enough how important to ask students to reflect on their learning. Yeah, particularly to foster their positive mindset. And so the second type essay, second English reflection, and third and fourth, we see only English reflections right here because it was about midterm week. Students were awfully preoccupied with a lot of things, so we just asked native speakers to help students review to prepare their midterm and also to engage in free conversations. You know, we do not want to add too much pressure to students, just to make a good balance at different stages of learning. And TBL 5 and reflection 5. TBL 6. That's the last TBL type essay. TBL refers to community-based experiential learning. All right, and at the end of the book, you see these student authors received her peers and a book review. Okay, so that means that each student not only finished their own ebook, each student also read their peers' books and gave a book review. In addition to offering book reviews, students also gave comments in any format they like, at any page that they like. I asked them to comment on 3 places. It could be cover page, it could be survey or essay, or it could be whatever that students like. Okay, that's ebook that students completed by using Book Creator. It's actually quite user-friendly. It's not difficult at all. I actually did not train my student how to use Book Creator. I had my technology specialist that created PowerPoint, also created video. It's very easy to follow. All right, now I'd like to show you what and how the flow is like. Each unit has 6 days, and what pre-test looks like, core test, and post-test. Let's start with Unit 1, Day 1. Unit 1, Day 1, students try to learn the basic concept of 四合院 four-side courtyard. And this is authentic material. Any users, including teachers and students, can click this and then lead you to Google file. It's perfectly downloadable. All right. And in addition to this route that allows users to download files from Google, we also create authentic material right here. And the blue characters has annotation, interactive annotation that go with it. Whenever your mouse click right here, it will automatically pop up with pinyin, with correct tone mark, with English notes. I think this is a very welcome winning feature for students. Yeah, it's interactive in a way that students don't need to scroll down to see the vocabulary list. Yeah, so for vocabulary, we present in 2 ways, 2 routes. One route is this traditional vocabulary list. The other is this with automatically pop up annotation. I think students would like to use these interactive annotations, but I think offering the vocabulary list is also necessary. Yeah. Okay. And we originally did not highlight the keywords in blue, but later, after we tested and gather feedback from several teachers and students, we decided to make keywords in blue in a different color or in gray in order to be eye-catching. It's so-called enhancement techniques. In TBLT, we could highlight keywords in different colors or make it italic or make it bold. The tiny small things matter visually. Yeah, it's helpful a lot. All right, so that's authentic materials. And pre-task, here is the video, the so-called interactive video that we created through Play Pause It. Play Pause It is not free. We needed to purchase to pay in order to be able to use Play Pause It. So when we created this OER site, we learned and we knew very well that language educators across different levels love to use free tools because we have limited budget. So my team converted Play Pause It video to App Puzzle video because App Puzzle is free and a lot of teachers are more familiar with App Puzzle. But these 2 tools, App Puzzle and Play Pause It, are basically quite the same. They create interactive videos to let students complete comprehension test and comprehension exercise by either choosing multiple choice ABC or 1 to 3, or true and false question, or to type some keyword type sentences or do some matching. Okay, now I'd like to play this interactive video so you can get a feel of it. I think this is a very powerful, effective tool for flipped learning because students get instant feedback and instant comments before they enter the classroom. For those of you that don't know Mandarin Chinese, I think you will be able to still get some sort of understanding from the visual aids, from the picture images on the PowerPoint, even though you don't understand, yeah, even though Mandarin Chinese is foreign to you. Okay.
同学们好，今天我们来一起学习四合院的常识，请跟我一起读四合院的常识。四合院是中国传统的文化象征，请跟我一起读文化象征。为什么它叫四合院呢？四指的是东、西、南、北四面。合是指四面房屋围在一起，形成一个口字形。同学们看这张图片，它不是一个非常传统的中国四合院。最传统的中国四合院呢，四面都。
All right, now the video ultimately stops, and the student can choose the answer for their comprehension check. This question is asking about what 4 means in the term 四合院 for side courtyard, and that means 4 directions: east, west, south, and north. So you choose the answer and submit, and on the top it will tell you whether you did it right or wrong. 100 out of 100. So I think students and instructors would love this function. They save you a lot of effort to do a correction by yourself. The machine itself will automatically grade it. We don't need any human beings, any assistant to do it. They save money, they save time. But actually creating this video takes a lot of time, you know. This entire video is about 5 minutes long. It took 6 to 8 hours to create this 5-minute video. Well, actually 1.5 days, including everything. So if you want to create a professional interactive video, 6 or 8 hours, it's not, well, you know, it sounds impossible, but we really did it, and we made it. We did not have a lot of experiences when we started this, but as we went along, continue with our project, we got more and more tips. We were more and more hands-on and learn from mistakes. So this is the very first interactive video that took us so much time, the longest time. And then for other interactive videos that were created for theme 3, 4, 5, probably 3 or 4 hours. 3 or 4 hours for one 5-minute interactive video would be enough. Even, yeah, a little bit less than 3 hours. So anyway, it's not something that we can do very quick. But if you use a puzzle, that will be faster. A puzzle, the one of the weaknesses of a puzzle is that a puzzle doesn't go with PowerPoint. A puzzle only take videos, YouTube videos, or the video that you create. And what you see here, as I mentioned earlier, we converted to a puzzle video to a puzzle in order to well and better serve teachers that are using free a puzzle. Okay, now let's continue.
都建有房屋，那这就是一个非常传统的中国四合院了。四合院至少有3000多年的历史，是汉族的一。
So I skip it. So again, the second question here, it automatically pop up. What kind of architecture style is this kind of 四合院? That is 合院式建筑. Okay. Again, I got it right, so I got 100 points. Yeah.
庭院
All right. I think you should be able to get a feel of it. And so here you see 7 dots. That means 7 comprehension questions right here. On the right, you see different time. That is each comprehension question is located, so students get some good sense of when the next question is going to pop up. Right, that's add puzzle. All right, let's continue. Add puzzle is one of the pre-tasks, and then the next pre-task is. Do I understand the features of 四合院 for side courtyard? Here you see very visual photo that show you what a traditional 四合院 looks like. Then we ask students to do pre-task, the second pre-task, by dragging the words into the correct box. And again, the beauty of it, the major purpose is to get instant feedback and instant scoring. 四, what does it mean by 四? 4. 4 means 4 directions. So we drag this one to the left. That's, it doesn't like me. We got it. And the second question, 和, what does 和means? 和 means that rooms are on the 4 sides. And in the center part of it, the central place has a courtyard with a shape that looks like a mouse, like a square. The third question is 院, courtyard, what does it mean? Courtyard means, here we go. Okay, 2 more questions. 庭院, the courtyard is at where? The courtyard is at the center. At the center. And then where are the houses? Where are the rooms? On the 4 sides. So we drag it. The answer to the designated boxes. And I now check if I do a wrong or do a right. What is the score that I got? Ooh, I got 5 out of 5. Okay. So again, for flipped learning, for individual self-paced learning, this is a good feature. Okay, and students can play, can do it as many times as they like, and there's no time limit. We have fast learners and low learners in our class. Okay, we don't want to create students' anxiety, level. So this is a pressure, low stake, pre-class, pre-test a student can do. Okay. Right. After pre-test, now let's look at core task. The first core task is to review what students did for these dragging exercises. And after that, we lead students to come up with a paragraph level language input and production. And the second core task is to ask students to form in groups, either pair or small groups, to compare what's the difference between 4-side courtyard and apartment. Okay, and to start with what they already know, to be so well connected with their apartment, okay, and make comparison between these 2 kinds of residents. Okay, and again, those who want the document, the Word file, you can click here. They will lead you to Google Drive. You can download from there. We have organizational devices right here, comparison devices right here, and core tasks to be done in class, in classroom time. So we also uploaded PowerPoints right here. Slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will also identify authentic material, the resources, the sources, where are they from? all sources of authentic materials are on the very last page. Okay, post-test, we ask students to handwrite a couple of characters and then type their short essay, to summarize, synthesize, review what they learned through pre-test and post-test. That's day one. So by now you saw pre-test, core test, and post-test, how they are connected. And then day 2, day 3 also follow the same procedure. Day 4 is meant to be reviewing what students learned from the previous 3 days. It's called pedagogical integrated review task. And I can show a little bit. So this is step 1 that I asked them to do, to preview, also to review the 3-day material. Step 1, ask them to identify organizational devices. So in order to engage students in active learning, but not passive learning, I asked students to engage in the first step, noticing to bring their awareness. Okay, so basically the organizational devices include first, secondly, in addition to, blah, 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 and finally, to sum up, that these comparison organizational devices function as skeleton to support all language structures and put all together into one paragraph at the discourse level. And then step 2, I want students to add more thoughts to compare. The above paragraph, this paragraph has some points. They highlight the differences this paragraph highlight the differences between apartment and 四合院. But now I want them to add more thoughts about that, to explore their cognitive ability. Okay, and then do you agree or not agree? Here it has some special purpose after it, because the structure or order of agree or not agree in Chinese different from English. We want students to avoid using the word order in English. I agree with you. In Chinese, we say I very much agree. That's it. So that's why I intentionally add this as step 3, etc. And step 4, I list a lot of 4-word expressions. So that's day 4. And day 5 is tasking action. That's a summative authentic task. To summarize this unit, students, you see me, I created a video to explain what students should do. And again, that is another mode of delivering information. It's more diversified, it's more active. It has visual, it also has sound, but we also provide the second round of information input. Like here, that's something that's basically what students are used to and will prefer to. Okay, it's a text-based Word document, just like what normally teachers do. Okay, the rubrics is right here. All right, and then the very last one, day 6, is Sabelle, community-based experiential learning, to meet with their native speakers online or in person. They don't need to stick to the regular class time. Okay, a lot of reminders, tips, why, what, when, how, and guided questions with some pictures, images as prompts and reminders, discussion question, and so on. Okay, I think I will stop right here and welcome any questions. We have 13, actually 8 more minutes left for Q&A.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Tseng, for such an inspiring, informative presentation. And we do have few questions here in the chat. And I also like to ask people to speak up if you want to have a verbal exchange with Professor Tseng, and you're welcome to unmute yourself at this point, okay? Yeah, I myself asked a question, Professor Zeng, that, in the beginning, because I was just right in the beginning, and I realized that later that you have a full team, like 3 years to prepare the whole thing. And that is a very substantial support and funding, to get all this done, especially the technical part, right? Technical support and everything. And then there's also curriculum preparation, teaching material preparation, everything. It looks just amazing and wonderful. But I mean, we are all the individual instructor who don't have a supportive team, and if we want to do this TBLT on our own, and would the pre-task, flipping the classroom part going to be time consuming, because you want to prepare student well enough to do the core task. And would that be too, time consuming in a way, because we don't want to be discouraged because it's too time consuming, it's too difficult, too challenging, and too much, in general. Yes.
Thanks to Professor Dunn's question. I think you speak to a lot of the world language teachers' concern. TBLT is very time consuming. I started to do TSLT and TBLT 15 years ago. I'm reading your message, and I I know what you meant to say. Let me answer the first sub question, pre-task. Let me take the entire video as an example. It's not something that we could do effortless. We need to make a lot of effort. Yeah. So I would say start with something that is manageable in terms of your time commitment. Okay. Edpuzzle accommodates and cope with YouTube videos, yourself creative videos. Okay. I have a lot of secondary school teachers, they are so familiar with Edpuzzle, they could finish one small segment, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, up to 5 minutes in 30 minutes. So during my talk, I mentioned how much time that we spent creating the first play pause video, the one that I just demo and show you. I said 6 to 8 hours. Actually, putting all together is 1.5 days. But if you use Edpuzzle, if you use YouTube video or some already, some self-created videos or whoever they created, then it will save your time, because we did play pause it. We had some PowerPoints that we needed to create ourselves. Creating PowerPoint takes time, and creating a great PowerPoint, effective, detailed layout PowerPoint also takes more time. Okay, so I would say start something small, and then don't do solo. Don't do solo. Teamwork works. Teamwork matters. Teamwork works so well. Teamwork matters a lot. Work with your colleagues or your friends in the same institution or outside the institution. Starting something small, something that you are able to manage to handle. Don't do everything at one time. They will drive you crazy. Over 1 decade ago, I did not have that much funding. I did everything solo. And we ended up not having satisfactory result in terms of course design, in terms of materials. Of course, at the time, I was not competent yet. 10 years ago, I also had my learning curve. Yeah. So anyway, work with your colleagues and brainstorm. Yeah. brainstorm. Even with my status, a lot of people say I'm a senior, faculty expert in TBLT. I've never done anything by myself. I always consulted my students, my assistants, even though they do not have teaching experience, but their points of view, their feedback will be very, very helpful. We want students' input because we always judge and make decisions from instructors, core developers' point of view. We are not sure if our perspective coincide with students' perspective and students' needs. Okay, so always confirm with students, get their input before, during the course, and after the course. Next, I would like to say, don't be too ambitious to do TBLT. To do TBLT, we need a lot of funding, we need a lot of time, we need a lot of members to be on your team. Start with TSLT, Tech Supported Language Teaching, because it will not taking you to nowhere. You have something tangible at hand. You might have some textbooks, some instructional materials that you have tested for so many years, several years, and now you want to add text to it. You can make gradual change, but not just sudden change. Okay, add bit by bit, theme by theme, unit by unit. Give yourself the 3-year time frame. And then it is better to drive yourself nuts and give yourself too much pressure and feel kind of frustrated. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yeah. I think the TSLT will, make more sense at this stage for both of us. Is anybody who would like to speak up? You can unmute yourself, please. Yes. Anybody who's doing text-based? Okay, so if not, there's another question here. Xiaoyun Liao老师 say that. Tseng 老师, hello. Why do you compile authentic materials? Step 4 before determining the summative task. Step 5. Is it possible to interchange these steps?
Yeah, that's a very good question. As I mentioned earlier, the 10 steps actually doesn't represent a linear fashion. Several steps might interact with each other, intertwine, and revisited each other, one another. Yeah. The reason why we started a little bit earlier, not later, to explore authentic materials, that we wanted to make sure that the theme they wanted to do had available and appropriate difficulty level of authentic material for my students. So we went back and forth. Actually, several steps are needed us to go back and forth. So although I put authentic materials at step 4, I did, and we did, my teammates did consider that in step 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. So exploring authentic materials actually did not stay at one point of time only. Yeah, but first of all, I would not do authentic material first. First of all, the first step is always identify our goals and themes. Themes and goals that complies with what we do for backward design. And then if you are an avid user of authentic material, sometimes it's hard to find something you like and something that's suitable. Searching for authentic materials, selecting authentic materials, and creating different types of tasks based on the select authentic materials is a very long, committed process. So we wanted to start earlier, but not later. So the combination and selecting authentic materials started earlier, not step 5, 6, 7, but we continue to explore it, to fine tune, to revisit it until we feel that we're confident that that's right to go.
Yeah, I think this is not linear, but 100% linear, process. It's just that you go both back and forth and you adjust, right, accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is anybody has any more questions? Yeah, from the people who are still staying with us? No. Okay, so Professor Tseng, thank you so much for such a thorough presentation, and then we are so glad to have you here. And even though we don't have much participant today because it's just Friday, but the Zoom meeting is recorded, and then a lot of people is going to look at it and later benefit from yours. Yes.
Thank you for having me. Thank you again for the invitation.
Yes, thank you, everybody. So let me tell you that our next event will be on Friday, October 6th, and which is next Friday. So please go on to COC website for detailed information about the talk again. And then we will, and also registration information. We will see you next Friday. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.